Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're doing another Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's reading a fairy tale to a whiny kid with me tonight?
Is it my turn?
Yes.
I'm Tiffany, and I'm very drunk.
That's not a line from the movie.
I'm Michael Colby, and I have 6 fingers on my right hand.
Who's next?
That wouldn't be a
I'm Zach from Absolutely the Best Podcast, The Work in Progress. And by the end of this episode, I'll have sucked 1 year of your life away.
That's okay.
Yeah, that might happen to me personally, the way I'm feeling right now.
Not to 50.
Uh,
That'll be like
so we are here to talk about a movie that I have never seen before and was actually a winner on our Patreon poll of fairy tale movies that my wife picked.
Ta-da.
That
And-
is insane to me.
Me too.
What's the one I wanted?
Ever After.
I wanted Ever After.
I've been trying to get that movie for years.
We're just gonna do it.
We're here to talk about The Princess Bride, directed by Rob Reiner, and came out in
80.
87.
You weren't even born
Yep.
yet.
No, I wasn't. I born a couple months later.
I was 5.
So maybe that's why I've never seen this movie. I don't know. I honestly can't believe I've never seen it. Like, I had never...
Me neither. It's a classic.
I've never seen any of this movie. Like, all I had ever seen was a whiny Fred Savage sitting in bed, and that was it. I have never seen another scene of this movie.
But Google says he is not in it.
So, that's my history with the
What?
film. Tiffany, what's your history?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I watched it. Who knows what happened?
Oh my god.
Do you need me to go take an appetizer?
It'll be fine.
Are you
And
sure?
yes.
Okay.
Colby, what's your history?
My grandmother showed this movie to me when I was less than 10 years old, so it had to have been pretty
Grandmother?
new. My grandmother
How
Oh,
old
on-
are you?
on Betamax.
Nice. The superior
That's-
format.
That's really old.
It really was, but she's a Jehovah's Witness.
She's a
so-
great grandmother.
They had the Betamax because it didn't have pornography on it. That's no shit.
She is awesome.
It's just fun. Yeah, because that's why VHS succeeded, because whatever
Yeah.
porn picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
That's why
porn
VHS
decides to go with, that's the one that always lives.
Sense.
But yeah, I was a little kid the first time I saw this movie, and much like Fred Savage, I heard the name Princess Bride, and I went, "Puh, I don't want to watch this. I'm a little shithead kid." And then, like, by the end of it, I was so invested that I was like, and then every time I watch it, I've watched it probably 50 times in my life, and every time I'm entranced, I'm enthralled by this movie. I love
It's
this
a good
movie.
movie. What? Why are you touching me?
And Zach, what about you?
I don't remember the first time I saw it. I'm sure I was a teenager, like early teens, but I loved it. I don't remember exactly my thoughts on it the first time, but it was probably similar with like Princess Bride, right? But
Yeah.
I loved it immediately, and I don't know how many times I've seen it. Dozens, if not, more than 50. I don't know. But when I worked at a movie rental store, whenever somebody would come in, they'd be like, I'm looking for a movie. Do you have any recommendations? My number one recommendation was always The Princess Bride.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
never had anybody complain about that recommendation.
It's so good.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I have a very long history. I can sprinkle it throughout, or I could just keep going.
Sprinkle it.
Okay.
All right.
She has spoken.
Why? But Matlock is in here.
I don't even know who Matlock is.
It's Matlock. It's a
That's
grandpa.
the grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Peter
I don't know
Falk?
his real name.
I don't understand how I've never
Peter
seen
Falk.
this movie. Like, my father
That's
used to
right.
watch tons and tons of movies, but somehow I had never saw this, and I don't know how, really. No, like, I know I seen that opening, and either he changed the channel or I left. I don't know, but, like, when I watched this entire movie, I had never seen a single scene of this movie other than, like, memes and stuff like that.
We need to educate Eric.
Like, and to me, that is really
Yeah.
weird. Like, I know who the characters were because I have Funko Pops of them.
I was
That's it. That's the only reason I knew who these characters were. Yes. The drunk lady next to me, yes.
I'm not drunk.
Oh,
You're
yes,
such a
you are.
liar.
But,
I need water.
so, I mean, I found that just strange. Like, I still find this strange. I mean, I was like, oh, I'll recognize some of this movie. No,
Nope.
nothing.
That's
Nothing.
that doesn't make any sense.
No, me either. And I'm into fantasy type movies. Like, I saw Willow. I've seen Conan. I think I've even seen The Beastmaster. Like,
Those are both.
yes, they're not good movies, but I've seen it. But, like,
Yeah,
for
Willow-
somehow this never got put on. And maybe
Willow
it was
is
the same thing
terrible.
where I heard the name and I'm like, that's stupid.
I went
Yeah.
to see Willow. What's his name?
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. Yes. Um,
I used to go on a podcast with a guy who insisted that Willow was a better movie than The Princess Bride.
It's not.
That's insane.
That
used
is
to
a
go
lie.
on that podcast.
Willow is a good movie.
Willow is a
It was a
terrible
very good
movie.
film, but this is better.
You're a liar.
Yes.
No, this is happier. Willow is not a.
Happy movie.
I mean, it's a good movie, but I think so. I don't remember. Wasn't a happy ending for that show that we'll never get a season 2 of. But no, this movie's way better than Willow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both two different kinds of movie. They're not. One's more of a drama fantasy and one's more of a comedy fantasy.
This is Mom, right?
No.
No, who's this?
Robert Reiner directed this movie. No. Actually, I think we've done one of Rob Reiner's movies on this podcast before.
It's Robin Hood Men Tice, right?
No.
You were
That's
just
Melbourne.
talking about it on one of your podcasts recently.
I know, but I can't
which one it was.
remember.
I just listened to it a day or two ago.
Rob,
What was
Stand
it?
By
I
Me.
think with Phoebe.
Yep,
that
Stand
was
By
it.
Me. I was like,
Because I was like,
good
oh, I
one.
forgot he directed that.
I couldn't tell you another Rob Reiner movie, but this movie is so beautifully shot. Like it looks so good.
Agreed.
I never used to watch movies for like what they looked like, but like for some reason this time when I was watching it, I was like, holy shit, this thing looks like every shot. I'm not going to say it's not like a Kubrick movie where every shot is like a work of art, but like the way that things are framed and like when they're in the forest and everything, like when they're out in fields, it's all framed so well that it's like, wow, this looks like it could be illustrations in the book. Like that's how well this thing is shot.
It is shot really well. Like,
yeah.
I was hoping this movie looks for 87. Like, it was, and it holds your attention very well, and it can work for kids. I can definitely see that, and also works for adults. It had a certain charm to this movie that I didn't.
Getting all those jokes.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, even though I know some of the stupid jokes from memes, and it was still funny.
I wish.
Yeah, it does a thing that movies seem to have forgotten how to do anymore, and I mean, none of this stuff feels rushed, but none of it also feels dragged out. Like, one of my major complaints about movies anymore is that they think that their audience is a bunch of idiots and they have to explain every single thing that happens in a movie. And it makes movies drag so bad. This movie is 1 hour and 38 minutes long, and it tells one of the most like grand scoped stories that you can think of, and all of it makes perfect sense. I don't know what happened that we can't do this anymore. Like, make a movie that's an hour and a half long and make it make perfect sense.
I think audiences got dumber.
I mean, America did get dumber. That's a
I
fact.
think audience got dumber because they made us get dumber. Like nobody trusts their audience to understand what's going on. And if they trusted their audience to know what was going on, then their audiences would know what was going on.
I mean, this movie explains things to you, but it does it in a way that just works. Like, I can't remember.
Like you're 5 years old.
I mean, it does. Like with the three villains, I guess, or one of the set of villains. Like when they capture Buttercup for the first time, and he's like, "Hey, why are you leaving that? Oh, we got to leave the sworn enemy of of this nation." And like it gives you the stuff, but it all just makes sense, and it just. I don't know. This movie flowed extremely well.
Yeah, and it just tells you it just tells you instead of like I feel like if they made this movie now, when he said, oh, why, then this person from this place won't know, it would have done a flashback, like a 3-minute flashback of why this was happening instead of him just saying it. He said it and it was done and you knew what was going on, and then we went on with the movie. It also makes sense because it shows his contempt for the people that are working with him because he has short guy syndrome. Yep. It's like we don't have to see the pearls falling when Batman's parents get killed. We don't have to see Uncle Ben say, with great power comes great responsibility. We know that stuff. And you can also say it. We don't have to have an entire scene of it.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. We really
We don't
We
need
don't.
those. Every time those pearls fall now, I make a joke to Ken because we're talking about a Batman movie tomorrow, and those pearls fall again. And they don't need to in that movie
No,
because that movie came out in
don't.
2012. So
Pearls, why don't you buy them for me?
the thing is, it's not even his mother's pearls in that, but that's another conversation, another movie.
Okay, no more Batman.
But it's not even his. It's just it's stupid what they do.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, and this is a story that doesn't have the like cultural history of a Batman or a Spider-Man. This is a totally self-enclosed story, and they tell it, and every part of it makes sense. And it makes sense in less than an hour and 40 minutes. Like, it can be done. Why aren't we doing it?
I don't know.
Because it takes, I mean, movies like this are special that just kind of come along and just everything kind of comes together. I think that's really what you're looking at with this film. I mean, I think that's what a lot of movies struggle with, is that they either overcomplicate things or they just too many people get involved. Maybe this is a different time, you had less producers. Like, for an example, Zach can chime in with me on this one, he'll know. Captain America Brave New World, that movie should be a lot better than it is. And it was boring.
Maybe they all need to be fairy tales, and that will help.
I think with this one, with this one, the big help was that William Goldman, who wrote the book, wrote the screenplay.
Oh yeah, that's
So
probably it too.
I think he probably was best suited to trim things down as necessary.
I said we need
Speaking
to
of the
read
book,
book, Michael.
You do.
All right, I was
going to
ask if anybody else read it.
It is magical. It is.
Yeah,
so
it's a great book.
And
The
only thing that's really different about the book is the framing. They wouldn't have been able to do the framing the way that they do in the book. But like, you get more history about Fezzik and Inigo. Those are the two things. Like, I was like, man, if they would have put 2 5-minute things in, I would have taken an extra 10 minutes in this movie to see,
for sure,
to see the stuff like with Inigo's father. It was powerful the way that they do it in the movie, but the way they do it in the book is incredible. Could have used a little bit more of that, but I probably saw this movie 20 times before I read the book.
Same.
And
I didn't know there was a book.
I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it in the movie. It still makes perfect sense.
I think another reason why we don't get this, because this movie was cheap. I mean, it was 16 million, but that's cheap for a movie. I feel like that adjusted for inflation, I'm not sure what that number would be, but like, movies now are too expensive as part of the problem.
Yeah, a couple more things on the book. Here in the movie, you've got it's kind of bookended, and you have the interstitials with the grandpa reading to the grandson. In the book, there is a lot of notes put in there about how the gimmick is that it's the abridged version, but it's not really. He's just pretending. And then there's a lot of stuff in there about him. The author will chime in and be like, "Oh, they go on for 10 pages on the Florinese monarchy, and so we're just skipping over that and stuff." So that's actually pretty entertaining too, and it's different from the movie. And so that's like one more reason to also read the book. I think my only complaint about the book is Buttercup in the book is just, she's kind of a ditz, and she's just a much, much better character in the movie. I'm not sure what the impetus was for that change, but I'm glad that they did that for the movie.
I think in the book, the point of it was that it was a fairy tale that was written that long ago. So it was sort of a play on what characters were written like back then, because it was supposed to have been written hundreds of years before he found the book and was putting out this version of it,
right,
with his notes in it. So I think that was the point of making her like that. It was like extreme caricatures.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's what I got out of it anyway. I only read the book like twice.
No, I think that makes sense too. I like it that she's a little bit of a damsel in distress, but she can also hold her own. Like, as soon as she gets the chance, she escapes once on the boat, and then later on, she, pretty much is fighting with Wesley before she knows it's Wesley. Like, I'm glad they did that with her, and that she's not just a whiny character. Like, they did something.
When I was watching it for this with my kids, who both noped out like way too early. I'm disappointed in both of them, but one of them was still watching. Actually, they might have both still been watching at the point with which Wesley finds her again, like as the Dread Pirate Roberts. And it gets to the scene where she's like, I forget what she says, but she's like, you can whatever. And she shoves him down the hill, and he's like, as you wish. And she's like, oh my sweet Wesley. And my son's like, it's not Wesley. It was like, that's totally Wesley, dude. How do you not know?
That's funny. That part, now I finally understand that meme. I've seen the meme of him rolling down the hill, and I was like, what is this from? Never got it. No, I get it.
Very, very funnily, there's a couple of things in this movie that were definitely made to be on film and VHS tapes, and they never figured out, they never thought ahead to think about what it would be like in HD, because when he's rolling down that hill, that is so clearly a different person in a terrible wig. And I don't know why they do that to these movies.
But
like,
you can barely see his hair.
If you're digitally restoring these movies, why don't you just make it look like him instead of making it look like the guy who was doing the stunt work there?
That costs money.
Yeah, but you're already spending the money to digitally to restore it.
It would have cost them probably exactly the same to just make it look like Carrie Elways, who, good fucking Lord, Carrie Elways in this movie is one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life.
Well, him and Robin Wright, yeah.
Both of them, yeah, absolutely.
I did not recognize Robin Wright until Tiff said something, and she's like, Robin Wright. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I did not recognize her at all.
I don't know her from.
She does look
else.
pretty different.
House of Cards is where I know her from. So years and years after.
Blade Runner 2049 or whatever.
She was in that?
Yeah, she's like the chief of Blade Runners. I don't know what the position's called.
I watched it and covered it. I have no memory of it.
I got to Google that because if I'm off on that, I'm hallucinating or something.
Yeah, I didn't.
Are you drinking too, sir?
I am having a beer, but should be okay.
Then. Go ahead.
I did not have a beer. I wish I did right now. More and more.
Okay,
so.
it was her.
Okay.
Gave you a chance to drink my drink.
Did not want that drink.
Jared drink it. He's my hero.
I wanted to sit at a river and play Xenosaga. That's what I wanted. So
nice.
That's what he did.
That's what you do. You sit by the river and play your Steam Deck. The right way to play Steam Deck. Sit outside and play your video games in a shaded spot so you can see. All right. So, not really, actually. Not really. I don't know what we're doing. We're just here. But the stuff with like Wesley being, I did not realize he was a Dread Pirate Robert. Like, I had no idea that's who he's supposed to be when he's all wearing the black costume. I was like, okay, they're being.
Explain it to you.
They do, but I didn't put, I don't know. I was like, I didn't know who. I was like, okay, they're being chased by some guy. Like, I didn't know they thought he was the pirate. Yes. Because
I mean, I think that's fine. I don't think. Yeah. Certainly. I mean, I was much younger, but I don't think I had the first time I saw it. I had it figured out by any means. No.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. I'm okay with that.
I don't think they even necessarily say it
in
the movie that they did think it was. I don't think they say it in the book either. It really doesn't matter who's chasing.
Fair enough. Okay, I thought that maybe they knew. They don't say it till Buttercup says it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was the only thing I could think of was at some point around the time when he like has the battle of wits with Vicini. Somebody says something about like you're the Dread Pirate Roberts, and I think it's after that, and Buttercup says it.
Okay. See, I unfortunately only
what it is.
Watched this movie once. I didn't have time to watch it a second time, like I wanted to.
I didn't either.
Vicini might have said it, but I don't remember. But like Michael
I can tell you in a few minutes.
It's not important.
I don't think he said it.
Okay, no, it's not important.
It's not important because like I said, it didn't really matter who they thought was chasing them. Just the fact that somebody was chasing them was enough for them. Like, they probably would have been more freaked out if they actually thought it was the Dread Pirate Roberts. The way that like his mythology is. I don't think they would have left anybody by themselves to try to take him out. I think probably only after he beats Fezzik do they even like think about it. Like, oh, this guy is trouble.
No, I think that's fair.
I really like during all the different chasing and battle of skill and wits and whatnot. I like how all that's done, especially with Inigo when he's getting impatient, waiting for Wesley to climb up the cliff. Yeah. That whole thing is terrific. I love that so much.
That was hilarious. Then, how do I know you won't kill me?
Yep. Great.
I promise not to kill you till you get up here.
Yeah. But then when he finally is like, I swear on the soul of my father, whatever, and he's like, throw me the rope.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to find a flaw. Like I'm even movies that I love, I'll be like, especially if I'm going to talk about it on a
Yep.
podcast. Like I'll be like, there was this thing. Just so it's not like oh yeah, a bunch of people agreeing on how great a movie was. That's boring. But like I was watching this movie and I'm like looking for something and I'm like, there's nothing bad about this movie. The way it's paced, the way it's shot, the way it's acted, it's all perfect.
There's
The only thing I could think of would be Fred Savage was like the biggest, like, I don't know, was he big then? I feel like he was on that show, The Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years, yeah.
That was a big deal. That was a big deal show when I was a kid. So like he was a big star, so I get it. But he is really annoying in that movie.
Yeah, he is.
But
and
also,
Wonder Years is definitely going on at this point.
okay,
I want to
but
say.
also he's an 8-year-old obnoxious kid. So like he did that really well. Like
my 8-year-old obnoxious kid was doing the exact same thing. He's like, do I have to watch this?
Did you point out? Go look, it's you. And as the movie started,
you know what? It wouldn't have mattered. It would have been lost on him. So after like 20 minutes of him going, can I just go watch? Can I go play iPad? I was like, yeah, go ahead.
What you do is when he's older, you go back, and go, hey, that was you at 8 years old, buddy. But I tried to give you this movie.
I should have recorded it. There are two things that have always stood out to me in this movie, but I don't care. But I will say, like, two things that always either looked bad or didn't quite add up. The first one is when they're near the end, when Fezzik and Inigo and Wesley are going to break into the castle to stop the wedding, and they have the Holocaust cloak on Andre the Giant, and they set him on fire, right? And they're wheeling him forward. It looks so bad. It is very clearly nobody in a in a cloak. But I get it, right? It's a fairly mid-budget movie in 1987. I'm not complaining about that.
And that's another thing that looked fine when it was on a VHS tape. Like,
yeah.
It's still, you could still tell that nobody was in there, but it looked a lot better than it does in HD.
Right.
Like, in 1440, that looks really bad.
Yeah.
Just ignore it.
It's hard to.
Well, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
So then the other thing is at the end when Inigo confronts Rugen and Rugen stabs him in the gut. And like he bleeds a lot and he's stabbed through the gut. And then like he's pretty much fine later, and presumably he's going to go become the next Dread Pirate Roberts. And I wish he hadn't been wounded quite so badly, because I don't know. I don't. That's pretty bad.
Like all over.
He's definitely got.
On his shoulder
He definitely has his own stool in his circulatory system now.
Well, he does. I mean, the blood from his shoulder is where Rugen stabs him.
Didn't he stab him in his stomach?
But he stabbed him in the stomach first.
But then he stabbed.
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
The shoulder and the arm.
Oh, I missed that part.
I missed that too.
Yeah.
He's about to finish him off, and
then Inigo does all of that to him. He gives him the two scars on his cheeks. He stabs him in the shoulder.
Beautiful.
And he stabs him in that same arm, and then he finishes him off by stabbing him in the gut. So he does all of the stuff that Rugen did to Inigo.
I love that.
Okay, that is a nice touch.
Yeah.
Like, even the simplest part where Wesley is trying to get Buttercup back, and he runs into, he had the Montoya fight, he had the Andre the Giant fight, and then has the Battle of the Wits with Sheldon's teacher, young Sheldon. And that's not the name of the character in young Sheldon's there.
The Sicilian.
Wallace Shawn is his name.
I really like young Sheldon, by the way. It's a good show.
No, I've never seen it. I knew him from the Cosby Show before this.
Oh, I don't remember him on that.
Yeah, he was like the neighbor. He was like Cosby's neighbor.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay. I thought it was good how they did it. One is a fight of skill, one is a fight of strength because it's a man that's a giant, and one is supposed to be a battle of wits, even though I'm pretty sure the guy is not intelligent, but we'll go with it.
He tried.
He's a little too cocky.
Yeah.
I mean, and what you do is you go over there. He looks, and you throw the dagger at his face. You don't.
Yeah. Just like everything else. Like everything else in the movie, it's a caricature of that type of character. And I saw something the other day which drives me crazy. And everybody like loves to make their little like fan theories and shit, and they're always stupid. And the one I saw, it was like, is Wesley the bad guy in Princess Bride? And
Oh my God.
I'm
No.
like, can you fucking stop? Can you just stop and enjoy something for a fucking second?
How would he be the
insane.
bad guy?
Why is he the bad guy?
He's a guy who leaves a woman to go work.
Pirate Roberts or whatever.
Well, then he gets captured because his boat gets captured. People think he's dead, and then he comes back 5 years later when he hears that the woman he loved is going to marry someone else.
Yeah.
Not okay.
I mean, like, my guess is partly he was only able to finally come back, also, or what's the fairy tale type stuff. So it's all part of that.
Yeah,
but like,
that's
no way he is a villain.
That's what I said. And it's always that kind of shit. Whenever somebody comes up with a fan theory, it's like, oh, well, what if Homer died? And that's why, everything happened in The Simpsons was like that. What if Ed, and Eddie are in purgatory? It's like, shut the fuck up. Just enjoy the thing for the thing that it is, especially if it's a satire of a fairy tale.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, there's just, I don't get why you would do that. Like, this movie is clearly a fairy tale. Like, it's given, the format is given to you as a fairy tale. Like, like you said, all the characters are caricatures of fairy tales. The stuff happens in a number of 3. You have 3 people that he runs into on his way to meet Buttercup. There are 3 things that, like, the movie follows the rules of 3, kind of like a fairy tale. I mean, like a lot of things do, Darksiders too. But
Fairy tale rule of 3?
I'm sure, like, anything with a kid's story type thing, you're gonna, could help you follow that rule of 3 also. Well, I think it's just kind of, rule of 3 is in a lot of different fictions. So.
It works for jokes.
That too.
That's true too. Speaking of characters, can we talk about Prince Humperdinck? Chris Sarandon?
You mean Farquaad?
Lord Farquaad.
That's what I saw.
Is he?
No, that's what I saw.
I know, when you told me, I'm like, she's right. That reminds me of Lord Farquaad from Shrek. Like, did Shrek rip this off?
Yeah, Shrek ripped everything off.
I know, but I never knew that there was references to this movie in Shrek. I have seen Shrek more than I want to in my life.
Yeah.
Get it either, so it's okay.
The right amount of
I didn't even get it all the way through Shrek, and that was too many times.
It's bad.
I saw it in theaters twice.
What?
Sorry.
All right, we're not getting into the Shrek.
No, not today. Maybe later.
But yeah, what
were you going to say about the prince?
Oh, nothing. I just he's a great caricature of the bad guy, essentially. And I don't know when it was that I found out that that's Susan Sarandon's brother, Chris Sarandon, and he's also he's really, really good in something Night, where he's the vampire and the kid next door figures it out. Oh, what's it called?
Fright
Night. Yes.
Okay, I
Yes. He's super good in that. Those are like the only 2 things I know him from. But I love to hate him in this.
Oh, he's a great villain.
He's a good villain.
So good.
And and in the movie, as the movie goes on, you find out that he's the true villain in all of this because he was the one that hired them to kidnap her. Mm-hmm. He is going to kill her himself. He talks about multiple times to himself.
I knew he was a villain in the beginning.
I mean, it fit. I mean, again, it's that fairy tale.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be the guy that hired them, nor the guy that wanted to kill her. I did not expect that.
Yeah, that's one of the things about this movie is that everything is so heightened. That's why you have to take it at face value, because like these are not complex characters. These are fairy tale characters. These are, this is the reason that this character is there, and that's pretty much all they are. Inigo's the revenge character. Mm-hmm. Fezzik is the strong character. Wesley is the romantic lead. Buttercup is the princess. Like that's just, and that's why it works so well. I think that's why it works so well, because we don't need to explain everything about these characters, because they're the good guy. They're the bad guy. There's no complexity to any of these characters.
But that works in this.
Yeah,
there was
absolutely.
never a point in this movie where I was bored, where I was irritated. I wasn't even Marvel snapping in this movie. I was just taking notes. That's when I missed stuff. I took detailed notes for the movie.
It's good. It's good if Mike's not Marvel snapping.
Yeah. There's been a few movies where there was a lot of Marvel snapping going on.
He actually comedy, so
I'm not a fan of comedies.
That's
usually. but this doesn't have the stuff that I don't like in comedies. Like if Ben Stiller is in your movie, I don't want to watch it.
But this is not a straight comedy. I would.
No.
It has funny stuff in it. I just wouldn't. I don't think comedy would be one of the first 3 or 4 descriptors
Nope.
I would offer. Like fantasy, romance,
It's American
action.
fantasy adventure comedy film is what Wikipedia says.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely makes me laugh at parts. But
Yeah.
But it's
like,
not a
so do some of the
dumb-
Friday the 13th movies and stuff.
Yeah, that's a different type of laughing.
This is
So that's like my father's laughing when he watches movies and then people get beat up. Or he's like, "Oh!" And I'm like, that's not supposed to be funny.
Well, no.
Well, that's not what I was talking
weird.
about. but-
Yeah.
No, he'd be the guy watching Titanic and laughing when they fall off the boat. I'm not
Well,
saying, but he'd be that kind of person.
Your dad's a psychopath, but
fair.
I understand what
It's
Zach
his
is
mom's
saying.
fault, though.
Oh, that's fine. I'm trying to think what movies. I know he's laughed at movies where I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't be laughing at that, but that's just who he is with movies. He just finds it funny when people get murdered and stupid shit
That's your
happens.
mom.
So yeah, but this movie is like I found this movie funny often. Like, and it's also just very, very charming.
Yeah.
How the fuck anybody? Just Wesley only really kills one person, and technically the person killed himself because he drank the poison when he knew it was poison.
He did
True.
know this.
He knew one of them was poison, and by drinking one of them, he accepted what was going to happen. If you're playing Russian roulette and you shoot yourself in the head, you knew what was in the gun.
I guess so. Fine.
So that's how I look at it. I mean, he didn't have to drink the wine; he could have just threw the knife.
He had a knife?
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay,
Yeah, but
continue.
he thought that he was smart enough to get away with it.
How'd that work out for him?
Not well.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't know. He didn't know that it
Fair
didn't work out for him.
enough.
He died.
I had a friend that was an atheist, and I remember him always telling me, he's like, you know the worst part about being atheist? He said, if I'm right, I'll never know.
Yeah. No. It's true.
So that's always one of those jokes. He's like, if I wake up and I'm wrong, I'm like, fuck, I'm wrong. I really did appreciate, like, even a part that could have been something that maybe kids wouldn't like is the whole way when Wesley is talking to Buttercup, and, he's essentially getting her to say that she loved him, even though she doesn't know it's him. I think that's a really good part. And it's very fairy tale-y, and it's very cheesy in the aspect of, like, but it works it works in this movie. So, and like having the prince follow them and recap what happened, like, oh, somebody here was strong, somebody here, it works. Oh, it's just really good.
Trying to think of like what we haven't said. Like I could talk about this movie for days.
Sure.
It's just one of those. It's just one of those movies where it's like, oh yeah, and then there's this part. Oh yeah, and then you go back because you forgot something, and then you go forward, and then you can just like every minute of this movie, there's something interesting happening.
Yeah. I wanted to say a little bit more about my history with the movie because I feel like there's been several things
Sure, please.
throughout not my entire life because I was born before the movie, but several things throughout my life that have revolved around this movie. So at one point, my wife and I bought we had one chinchilla and we bought him a friend, and it was a little black chinchilla, and we were trying to decide what to name him, and we ultimately decided to name him the Dread Pirate Roberts. And we just call him Pirate. He's now 19 years old. He is still going strong. And then when the first chinchilla that we had, when he died, we were like, oh no, Pirate is lonely. Let's get him a friend. And so we got another chinchilla, and he was like a kind of a tan color, and we called him Wesley. But he died after like 8 years, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah.
But Dread Pirate Roberts is still going strong.
I didn't know they lived that long.
It's kind of unusual. Like if you buy one at a pet store, 5 to 10 years. Where we got Pirate from, it was a reputable breeder. Like he had a barn of like the craziest chinchilla setup. And so like they are known to have basically it's basically chinchilla eugenics. And he had a chinchilla there at the time. I remember that was 20. And we were like, holy shit, he's 20. He's like, yeah, it's not unusual, but it's not unheard of. And so like every morning I wake up, I'm like, hey buddy, you doing okay? And he's still pretty spry.
Pretty good. I never had a chinchilla. I wanted one when I was younger. I had a gerbil.
Can we get one now?
We have cats that would murder them.
No.
Yeah,
Juliet doesn't even.
I gotta tell you, it's not easy having a chinchilla because some of them they all have different temperaments, and most of the time they don't really want to be held. They're prey animals. They don't like being picked up. So a lot of it is looking and not touching. And they're pretty fragile, and they chew on everything. So like we used to let them free roam, and so we had everything kind of quarantined off stuff that we didn't want him to chew on. But he hasn't wanted to come out of the cage in years. He's still fine, but he just doesn't want to come out. So we eventually took down all the chinchilla proofing, and if he wants to come out again, I'll put it back up, I guess. But
I guess he just feels comfortable in his home. So
yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
this is my lair. I stay here. He's like, I'm old.
Well, that and I don't fuck with him in it either. Like he knows I will not just like reach in and snatch him, and because some chinchilla owners will do that. It's like I'm not going to do that to him. It's going to mess him up.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's enough chinchilla talk.
That's the closest I ever had.
Yeah, dribbles are great. Dribbles are great.
The ironic thing was we had him like 2 years, and then the day that we brought home my son from the hospital was the day he died. Like the day after.
Man.
Like he heard my son screaming. He's like, I'm out. Fuck this shit. I'm like, fair, gerbil. Fair. It's not
You're
quite
like, fuck,
anymore,
he's got the right idea.
Oh, and my son never stopped crying. So yeah, when he was little. So I get it.
Another thing, my wife and I, we met in grad school. My wife, we met in grad school, and when we both already loved this movie. She's the one who turned me onto the book, and obviously she's the one who helped name the chinchillas. But when she did her thesis, and anybody's thesis, you usually put some quotes in because you can, right? And when are you ever going to write another thesis? So in her thesis, in her quote page, it just says, "Anybody want a peanut?" with the attribution to Fezzik. And just one more little thing. This isn't really me so much as I saw one time a license. I always thought like vanity license plates were kind of ridiculous. I actually have one now, unfortunately. I'm a hypocrite. The one that I saw that was like, wow, okay, that's worth it. There was a vanity license plate that said "To Blathe," and I thought that was great. And I always wish I had taken a picture of it, but I did not.
That's cute.
The Miracle Max part of this movie is so good. Like Carol Kane and
That's Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal
Are so perfect for those roles.
No, good for you for remembering Carol Kane.
Carol Kane she's one of those people that like is never like a main character in anything, but she's always so funny in everything that she's in.
She was Latka's wife on Taxi, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
All right, that's where I first saw her. Yeah. But yeah, that whole scene, that's where the comedy comes in for sure.
Oh
that
God,
whole
yes.
scene. It's great. It is so good. It's packed with really, really quality comedy.
And that's why you get those two. Cause like in 1987, you said? 1987,
Yep.
like those two were like the pinnacle of that type of comedy. And that's, I guess Rob Reiner, I guess the fact that it was Rob Reiner probably helped to get some of these people in who wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for, him.
Yeah.
Because they probably couldn't have afforded to pay them what they were worth at that
No,
point.
this movie has a small budget.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And some of these actors are already, Billy Crystal would already be pretty big by 87, right?
Yeah.
He's in a small part, but...
That's the thing. Like, it was probably Rob Reiner who got them to do these small parts. Because some of these people, the guy who plays the albino, I recognize too. Like, he was a comedian. And it's like, to get these guys, Christopher Guest, to get these guys to play these roles where they're on screen for like 5 minutes... like, yeah, it had to have been because of him.
It's definitely Rob Reiner, because didn't Rob Reiner do Spinal Tap?
Yes.
And that obviously had Christopher Guest and Billy Crystal is in that as well. And I don't think he was very big at all then. And so it was probably returning a favor.
Yeah. Yeah. Spinal Tap was big for a lot of people as far as the actors go.
Me either.
Spinal Tap's
You've never seen it?
Movie.
No.
No.
You shouldn't be surprised.
I know of it, but I've never seen it.
I feel like it could easily be a miss for many people. I love it. I love it so much. And I don't know, I make references to it all the time. And my wife one time was just like, what is this movie? I was like, all right, let's sit down and watch it. And I think we turned it off after like 20 minutes because she was making it not funny for me. And I was like, well, I want to remain liking this movie and stay married. So let's not watch this anymore.
That's a parody of rock bands, right? No?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so good. It's extremely subtle and dry, but it's so good. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We turn it to 11.
Maybe one day I'll watch Spinal Tap. I don't know.
Put it on the Patreon.
People might vote for it.
What are we gonna?
If it's not your thing, though, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the first time I watched something on the show that wasn't my thing.
All the horror
Fair.
movies.
So I'm going to be watching a couple horror movies soon that will not be my thing. I know of.
Yeah,
So.
if you don't like if you don't like comedies, this is a specific type of comedy. It's one of the things that like inspired my sense of humor, which is like weird.
You're funny? I said you're funny?
Sometimes, if you would listen to my podcast.
I do. I'm just joking with you, though.
Burn.
It's one of those things that like not everybody's gonna get. It's not broad humor at all. It's the narrowest type of humor. We're talking about Spinal Tap way too much. Wait for the Spinal Tap episode. Yeah. Let's go back.
We are.
Back to Princess Bride.
Yes, to a broad movie. And like broad movies are not usually my type of thing. I do like very niche things, but this one is I think as broad as it gets. Like I don't know anybody who doesn't like The Princess Bride. I find it hard to believe that that anyone could not like this movie.
Except my kids.
Yeah, but they're kids.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Kids. It wasn't Roblox, Zach. That's why they weren't interested. Now, if it would have had ugly little, blocky characars, they might have been into it.
That's fair. They're still talking about the Roblox movie.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a movie?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Minecraft movie.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they do play Roblox all the
awful.
time. I don't know. I didn't have to go see it. My wife took them.
I had to go see it because my son wanted to, and I didn't have to. But I'm like, we can go have a good bond, and this will be fine. And I was like, no, this is not fine. I want to leave.
How could it be bad? It has Jason Momoa and Jack Black in it.
I like Jason Momoa, but I found out when Jason Momoa plays a complete idiot, I don't like Jason Momoa.
It's Aquaman.
And he plays a complete idiot.
I love that.
Yeah, I think he was also making fun of me too much too. So
I'm funning you.
Yeah, essentially, he's a gamer from the '80s. Now he's old and washed up and going on bankruptcy, and I'm like,
had 2 years in the '80s.
I know.
2 years. 3 years.
I'm aware.
3 years.
So I don't know, but that's not what we're here for. I do want to talk about the swamp. I thought the swamp was interesting in this. Like, I do like when they abbreviate the rodent, the ROUS, and I thought that was just stupid and funny.
What is it?
I have a T-shirt.
Rodent something.
That's
the
rodents of unusual size.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though.
I have a T-shirt with like a little chart on it, and it's got like a mouse, and it's got a squirrel, I think. And then it's got like an ROUS next to it, and then like on the side with the mouse and the squirrel, it's like usual size, and on the other side it says unusual size.
That is wonderful. That's another one of those things that looked way better on the VHS tape or on the Betamax.
Oh yeah,
I thought they looked fine in this.
For a puppet?
Yeah, it's definitely.
There's a guy in a suit, I think.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, when they're fighting, it's definitely a guy in a suit.
Oh, funny.
That might have been Warwick Davis. We don't know.
I was just going to ask you that.
He would have been credited for it. He does do a lot of frickin' movies and suits, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Willow, not Willow.
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
I also never seen that movie either.
I
don't want to.
enjoyed it, but I feel like it wouldn't.
I don't think I ever need to see Leprechaun in my life. I'm pretty sure.
I think you do.
You do, really?
And Ken hasn't said I should yet, so that's what I'm based on.
I will watch him for you.
But yeah, it's.
I prefer Leprechaun in the Hood.
I like the stupider Leprechaun movies as well. The stupider it gets, the better it is.
The only one I'm interested in a little bit because I like her. One. But I don't think I like her enough to watch that movie. So.
But yeah, the swamp is also good because that's another thing that they could have made that way too long, and there was no reason to make it that long. And it also has one of the most tense scenes I've ever seen in a movie, and it's when she gets sucked into the quicksand, and then he goes in after her, and it stays on it just long enough where you're like, oh my god, they're gonna die. And then you
can't see me nodding right now. Yes, like they linger on that shot for so long, and that's another thing. I think if they were to make that movie today, it wouldn't have gone on that long.
No, they wouldn't have done that because again, they don't trust their audiences because it's not like this was Rob Reiner's baby. He made this movie. They don't do that anymore. The studios make these movies now.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't trust their audiences, they don't trust their directors, they don't trust their writers to like understand anything. It's like it has to, and that's a lot of the reason why, they did this in like the 30s as well. It was like the 30s, and then they started doing it again in like 2010, is where you never feel like your hero is ever in any sort of real danger. And I hate that. In this movie, there are several points where you think your hero might actually die.
Yeah.
And that's important. It's important to make your heroes mortal and fallible. And they
Similarly,
just don't do it anymore.
Similarly, I like how Humperdinck lives, and I like how I don't know. It's like 2/3 of the way through when Wesley does first die, and Fred Savage gets all upset, and he's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean he died? Who's going to kill Humperdinck?" And Peter Falk's like, "Humperdinck lives."
Yeah,
and he does at the end.
He does.
So I like that. It's not exactly how you would necessarily expect. I mean, it is a probably PG fairy tale movie, so I guess I would not expect them to kill the bad guy in the end. Maybe
still could. I mean, there's a lot of movies that still would have had
off-screen kills
or something. Yeah, like
and Rugen died pretty gruesomely.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would just follow the Batman rule. He doesn't have to kill you. He doesn't have to save you.
He just beats your ass.
I mean, they could work in things like that, but I think it's a cute aspect to leave him alive and take the girl and just run.
Yeah. Yeah, they also that was another time where I was like, are you kidding me? Is when they're riding away and the guy who's on the horse who's supposed to be Fezzik is like half the size of Andre the Giant. They just put that
They would have killed the horse if they tried.
I know I understand why they did it. It's just so funny because it's obviously not him. Because you just saw him standing next to these horses and he's as big as them. And then there's just some guy in a bad wig and a bad floppy shirt. I think they did a great job also of getting Fezzik and Inigo back together.
Yeah, I thought that was also good.
Because, when he finds him drunk.
Yeah, they split him up, and this is how it happens in the book: is that Fezzik joins the Brute Squad. But again, in the movie, they don't have enough time to do everything that they do in the book, obviously. But they do enough that you're like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on here. We didn't need the scene that's in the book of them getting split up and wondering what they're going to do. And then Fezzik joins the Brute Squad and then, they get back. It's just like, hey, there's this guy that none of these other people can take care of. Let's get the strongest guy. Okay, these two know each other. Boom. We did it.
I didn't even realize he was part of the Brute Squad until later.
He is the Brute Squad.
He is the Brute Squad.
Oh.
I'm in the Brute Squad. You are the Brute Squad. Again, Miracle Max. That might be my favorite scene in that movie.
I didn't care for that scene as much because I just don't like Billy Crystal. Like, I have seen very few movies with him in it, and that's on purpose. I don't like
him in everything, but I love them in this.
Yeah, he's
fine in this, but I don't like his voice. He's one of those actors I do not like his voice or him. I don't like the way he looks. I just don't like him I just don't like him. Nothing wrong with him. I think he's probably a fine guy. I'm just like, I don't need you in any movies. I'm good.
I think you should write him a letter.
Okay. Ask him to be on this podcast. See how that works. Like, hey, listen to this episode.
I feel that way about Tom Cruise.
Yes, but Tom Cruise is a fair reason to not like the man.
Yeah, but like he's in a lot of movies that I know that I would like, but seeing his face, I'm just like, forget it. I don't want to watch this movie.
But he deserves that. I don't think Billy Crystal has done anything to deserve that. Tom Cruise is like, come on, Scientology, we're not a cult. Yeah, like he deserves to say bad things about him.
I was like that when Top Gun and Days of Thunder came out too. I've just always been that way about Tom Cruise.
Okay, no, I mean, he's probably deserved for a long time, so.
I'm sure.
Oh, no. Okay, no, Billy Crystal's in Howl's Moving Castle. I didn't mind him in there as a little fighter. I don't know, maybe. I just didn't care for, he has to be a voice, and I don't want to see his face. I don't know. Not sure. Nothing wrong with the guy. But
actual face.
No, you see a lot of makeup.
Yeah, but it's just so funny. And that's one of those things where it's HDified, but it still looks good. Like, it's not like I'm trying to think of what movie I just watched recently where they HDified it, and like the makeup you could see on the guy's face where they stopped doing the makeup. And it drove me crazy.
I can do it. I don't know. I mean, the scene was fine. The stuff with when they revive him, I think, is pretty good. And like the whole fact that like he can't move for a good, for the rest of the movie, pretty much. Like he's just, and they make it work and they make it funny, but it also like makes sense. I mean, the suction machine, I was thinking to myself, like, this is a little, because when I first saw it, I'm like, are they trying to like sneak in a little BDSM sex machine in here? Like, that's what my brain went to.
Well,
no kink shaming.
And again,
that's where my brain went to. It's close to it.
It's a fairy tale, If he says, we put this thing on you and it sucks out years of your life, it's like, fine. It sucks out years of your life. I don't care. It's like
what I really like about it is it makes the plausibility of him being only mostly dead there. It's like if he had been stabbed or I don't know, hung or something like that, you know, right? But this is like already something that's not really well defined. Like they like, what does it mean to suck life from someone, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, really like that part of
essentially
it.
Just adding pressure is what it is. Is you're adding suction pressure.
Yeah.
But.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, in real life, that's all you can really do. But I mean, he even says he's like, but this sucks life. And I don't know. Sure. I can just accept that. It's a fairy tale.
It's a cute. I mean, yeah, it's a cute torture device that fits into a kids movie. It just made my brain think of BDSM, but that's not the movie's fault. That's my own personal problem, not the movie. But it did make me chuckle. And the Count is funny. How he's like, "Tell me how it felt." Like,
yes.
The stuff with the Count is good too. And like, you want to see him get killed, like we talked about earlier, and he deserved it. So that was nice. When I was watching this movie, and the first time Indil Montoya says, "You killed my father," and Tiffany, he's going to say that a lot more. Then we're going through this movie, like, he's only said it like once, and he runs to the guy, he says it twice, and then as he's killing him, he keeps saying, "I'm like, oh, now I get what she meant." And that's another one of those where I knew it, but only because of memes. So
that's a shame. I feel like that was spoiled for you.
I mean, that was the only thing that was really actually spoiled for me. Surprisingly, like other stuff. I mean, it's not because there's nothing else to spoil, but yeah. I mean, that's been all over the internet for years. I mean, that was probably one of the early memes. Hell, there's a store at the Mall of America that me and Tiff walk by all the time, and for the longest time, they had a Wesley Funko Chase Pop sitting in the window, and we never bought it because the price was too high, and I never cared, and it's weird. I actually kind of care now. I'm like, huh. But yeah, it was sitting in the store for years. No, it chased some Funko Pops are cheap. Like, yes, the fad is kind of going away, but no, there are still some that there's money. People will still buy them. I'm one of those idiots that still buys them. No, it's $50 they wanted for it. Then they dropped it down to $35 because it literally sat in the window for over 2 to 3 years. I should know. I go to the mall enough.
No Funko Pops. I would have paid $35 for that.
Don't start that habit.
I have one Funko
I guess
Pop,
I won't.
and it was given to me, and it's worth like a couple $100.
I have well over. I probably have over 300 to 500 around me. I bet.
I heard you have a basement full.
I do. I'm looking at them right now. There's a lot. Yes, too many. But
I think one is too many. But
I bought one today actually at a comic book store while my wife was getting drunk. Where I should have been watching. I went and go buy a Funko Pop, and I never came back.
Was it Princess Bride themed?
No, it was Black Ranger from Power Rangers. So there are a few Princess Bride Funko Pops. There's Wesley with the mask on or without the mask. One of them is the Chase. I can't remember which one now. There's Buttercup.
The mask on, yeah.
I think we have everything but the Chase. Because Tiff has always been a big fan of this movie. Also, Tiff left for those listening. She went to bed. Apparently, the alcohol makes
quiet.
No, she's tired. I think we even have an Andre the Giant, supposedly like the bigger one from this movie somewhere, but I don't know where that is. There's a lot of Funko Pops. I was organizing them at one time by movie, by style, but then my cat decided that she didn't want them organized where they were and knocked them off, and I went, okay, I won't bother until you're gone.
Good Lord.
Yeah, until she slows down. I had a really cool Wonder Woman display set up with like 30 Funko Pops, and then she just went boom, boom, boom. They all went off the shelf, and I went, okay, we won't do that again. Cats are naughty. Anybody know that?
Yeah, yes. Mine, while I was playing D&D earlier, jumped up onto my display case and knocked over my Assassin's Creed 4 statue, and now I can't find Edward's hand.
Oh, well, maybe he gave his hand away to make sure the hidden blade would work. You know, like you had to give away a finger.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I thought.
Oh,
Yeah, so
is this Andre the Giant's only movie?
I think so.
I don't think so. You do think so?
He was probably like cameo in stuff, but he's not a great actor, but
He worked for this.
he works for this. I don't think you could have just put him in stuff, you know? Like he did what he needed to in this one, and he's great in it, but
He's
don't
done
think
about
you
10
could,
movies
like-
or so.
Yeah. Well, some of those are TV shows and what you're looking at. but
Conan
yeah,
the Destroyer.
uncredited. But yes.
Yeah, I'm sure if you needed a big, huge guy for, your main character to defeat, he would have been fine for that.
I mean, I guess he was in the WrestleMania movies too. You know, those scripted movies. So he was in a few of the WrestleMania. But no, he's really good in this. But I know he was. I think this is getting near the end of his life. That guy was not.
I seem to
doing okay.
recall a lot of the behind the scenes of him having a lot of trouble, both with alcohol and just like with physical ailments.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Carrie Elways wrote a book about filming the movie, and there's like a whole chapter about it. So I'd recommend that book too.
Oh, that's cool.
If
So I have one.
if we were on video, I would go get the Princess Bride book, and I think it's just called As You Wish, Carrie Elway's book. It's really
Oh yeah. That's right. That sounds right. I've heard of that. I do have one other Princess Bride related story, and that is the wedding scene with the priest with his unusual lisp.
He's annoying.
It's kind of annoying, but that's Eric Idle, and I went to a wedding where the person officiating it was like a friend of the groom, and he did that for the whole thing, and it was like kind of awesome, but also kind of cringy. She's like, I can't believe he's sticking with this.
Did the bride
that
want
was-
him to do that?
I think she was just glad it wasn't something worse. He was kind of a little bit
okay.
It could have. I think that there could have been worse choices,
It's annoying.
but I don't know.
It's a little too long, in my opinion. I just didn't like it. But again,
Yes.
I'm not a big comedy guy. I didn't know who the actor was. I'm assuming he's supposed to be a well-known comedian at the time.
Yeah, Eric Idle. He's been in like all the Monty Python movies. He's probably in. I like them as well, but probably not your thing.
No, I don't do comedies very often on this podcast. No, I don't think it would be. I've tried watching Monty Python once, and I couldn't do it. I was like, this is stupid. And that was it.
I think I'm trying to remember if my wife actually does like the Holy Grail. I don't think we've watched it together though.
Maybe one day, but I'll probably have to get drunk or high and watch it and see if I appreciate it more. It feels
I
like one
mean,
of
you're
those
not going to
movies
have trouble following it.
I tried the Life one or something, and that was just stupid, and I turned it off within like 10 minutes.
I actually really like that one a lot,
I love Life,
but it's certainly not as well known as the Holy Grail.
This was also over 10 years ago, so I was a different person then than I am now. I was in my 20s still. So, I mean, maybe if I watch it now, I'd appreciate it more, because my movie taste has grown a lot because of this podcast. I look at movies differently, so I might appreciate it more, but I've never tried.
You have to like stupid.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
I love Scott Pilgrim.
Like that,
That's my favorite movie of all time.
That's insane.
That
But
movie's stupid.
It's a different type of thing.
I know.
Monty Python is its very own specific type of stupid. And
I gotta say, I appreciate the stuff with Buttercup where she's very much like, I'll never love you to the prince, and all the bullshit where the prince is supposed to send his 4 fastest ship to find Wesley. And I'm like, in 10 days on ships? Come on, people. That's not how fast ships worked at this time. So, but that's where my brain went.
yeah, well, it's a fairy tale.
I know. I mean, it didn't bother me at all. It wasn't like, oh, that's dumb. I just laughed.
He never sent the ships anyway. So,
Well, yeah. But he also lied about it, which I thought
Does
was
she
funny.
know? Yeah.
She figures it out.
Right, but I guess my point was like, would she have known that the 4 ships wouldn't have been able to find him, even if he had sent them?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
She was
so.
kind of-
And I think that's what he was banking on.
But he was too he was too dumb. So in some of that, well, he just had no respect for her. I think that's the right way to say it. He wasn't that dumb. He just had zero respect for this woman.
Yep.
Because she was a commoner.
Yep.
Which fits fairy tale.
Probably
and
also,
fits,
and she's a woman.
yes. Which fits both a fairy
That's
tale.
not how I
and,
feel. Just to be clear.
Yeah, that's
No, but it fits. It does fit like something from that would be like if this was real that time period, and he's a
Right.
king, so therefore he's also an extra asshole. Because if history taught us anything, most kings or wannabe kings, for example, are pieces of shit.
Well, unfortunately, history hasn't taught us anything.
I mean, history taught us. Just people decided to rip those pages out and burn them. That's all. That's a different thing.
Yes.
They also, in the book, it has a little bit more about her relationship with Humperdinck's father, with the king before.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit more powerful when he dies.
Wait, he dies in this?
Yeah.
When did he die?
No, that's,
That's
just a dream.
that's a dream that she has.
Oh, that's right. That's just in the dream.
Because she kisses him at the end after where she gets married, but didn't get married because she never says "I do."
Yes.
I thought the movie was going to go, well, you didn't consummate the marriage, did you? Wink, wink. But they didn't go there, and I thought that's what they were going to do.
No, and that's probably why. That's probably why I I don't remember that part, because it's inconsequential in the movie, but
Yes.
it does go a little bit further into like her relationship with him, and how she confides in him that she doesn't like hit the prince, and it's a whole thing which doesn't matter in the movie. It's just a little bit more world building in the book, and it's one of those things that's like nice to have, but just like this tangent that I'm on right now,
No, it's fine.
it's
I mean, technically,
it's a
this
little bit
fits.
more world building, but it's inconsequential to the overall story of what we're trying to say.
But it also it helps the movie. Like even this movie cuts a little. I saw more Fred Savage than I wanted to see in this movie, but that's fine. I mean, again, this movie is made for kids essentially.
The interstitials in the book are a lot. Like there's not much that happens without an interruption. So they took a lot less interruptions in the movie. And I do like how there was just like a little bit of voiceover a couple of times. Like the movie's still going on and you hear them talking. And I'm like, that really works. And until I read the book, I was like, I didn't know why it worked quite so well, but it works because of how the book is laid out. And it's just a really, because they said, when Rob Reiner was trying to get this movie made, they're like, this is a book that you can't turn into a movie. Like it's impossible to turn this book into a movie. And he sure as hell did it.
Yeah, he did an amazing job too. I feel like it has a good climax to the movie too, like all the ending when they go to the castle, like all the humorous stuff with the prince where he's like, oh, you got to go chase all these people out of the woods, the thieves' woods, and put all the guards at the front. Essentially just making it so he can commit murder and nobody will notice.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all really good. I don't think there's... And the whole thing where how Wesley gets to have the battle of the wits with the prince at the very end, where he tricks him into being like, oh, I could fight you, even though he can't barely move. I thought that was good to show that like the prince is a fucking idiot. Also, when the princess is about to kill herself, like they have her put the dagger to her heart, where she's going to shove it through her heart, but they also do it to where it isn't as obvious. Like, I mean, obvious, but like, there's a lot of other things they could have done. I thought that would have been, less child friendly.
Well,
wouldn't stab yourself in the heart. Terrible way to go.
I'm going to push back on you saying that Humperdinck's an idiot, because he's definitely not. He is in the movie. He's very capable, and he actually is very smart, but he is a coward. And
Okay,
that's his downfall. It's not that he's stupid or incompetent. He's very competent. He gets Buttercup back. Like all the things that he does works. Like the stuff works. And that also makes Wesley a better hero, is because he's not fighting against somebody who's incompetent. He's fighting against somebody who's incredibly competent, and he's just better at everything. But yeah, Humperdinck is a coward, and that's his downfall.
Okay, that's a better way to put it. And making him a coward, I think, is also a good way to kind of fit with the fairy tale here that we're going for. I thought Indigo Montoya was going to die, but then again, that wouldn't fit a fairy tale. To have him killed after he finally completes his quest.
Yeah, no, after he gets stabbed in the stomach, shoulder, and arm, he just jumps out of a second-story window onto a horse, and he's fine. Rides away.
It's a very cute ending.
It's so good. And again, it's one of those things where you just accept it, because, we're watching a fairy tale movie with caricatures. So, this is an archetype of a driven, one single-minded, protagonist, and he does it, and he could have died. Like, Inigo could have died, and it would have been just as nice of an ending for his character, because he did the thing he was setting out to do for 20 years. I'm glad that they didn't do that, but they could have, and it still would have been a satisfying end for that character.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have fit the happy ending they were going for.
Yeah. That's why I said I'm glad they didn't, but...
And also, did you see the stuff in Fred Savage's room? I really like.
Like what?
There's a Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back cup. There is He-Man figures, which I
saw the He-Man. He was playing, I think, RBI baseball in the beginning.
With what kind of fucking controller is that?
Oh, I didn't notice his controller.
I didn't even see it.
It's a flight stick like thing.
Is it the NES Advantage or like an actual like the? I know what you're talking about.
I had a flight stick looking controller for my NES.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds familiar. It sounds right from that time.
Was it gray with red buttons?
No, okay, it's not the flight stick. It's not the NES Zoomer. It was the it's called the NES Quick Shot. Is the one that he has in the movie. Why? I don't know, but that's what he's using.
I'm trying to look this up because I want to know if this is the one that I had.
Yeah, if you Google it's gray and white with red buttons.
Yes, that's the one I had. I had that controller.
Yeah, but I was just like, what the fuck is this? I thought he was playing Atari at first, and I saw the graphics. I'm like, that's not Atari.
Yeah, no, it.
I feel like that was developed specifically for one game.
It wasn't a good. I had so many different controllers for the NES. I feel like that one I used more than most. I think I used my NES Max a lot because it had turbo, and I don't know why, but I liked that flight stick to play games with. And
it was fun. Or you were a kid, so it's what you had. I don't know. I had never seen it before.
Yeah, it was the NES had probably more like peripherals than you probably even realize.
Yeah. I never had an NES, so that's part of it.
I had a bunch of weird controllers for it because I would always get them when they went on sale at Toys R Us. Because shit like that, nobody liked it. So I would just wait until it was cheap and then I would buy it.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was RBI Baseball, which is a great baseball game.
I've actually never played that game. Not really that surprised, but never played.
That's not, if you're not a baseball person and somebody who grew up in the early, like mid 80s, there's no reason you would have.
Yeah, and I'm neither.
Yeah. So
I don't like sports games in general, so unless they have like a campaign or like a story mode, then I can go through it. Other than that, no interest.
Yeah, I don't like baseball games anymore because they're too complicated now. I like the very simple NES style baseball games.
No, that's fair. That's a much different type of thing. All right. Any last thing to say? Should we go to Shelf Stacker Box?
I'm good with going on.
Yeah, I think I've said everything I needed to and more.
Hey, that's why you guys are here. I'll do Tiffany's. Tiffany said put it on the shelf because she really enjoys it.
Good.
Of course she did.
She's the only reason why it was on a poll. The only reason why it happened. So, to be fair, it was all her. Oh, right. And Colby, what about you?
Oh, this is a shelf for sure. This is, I have probably 10 movies that I can watch that I think are perfect. And I think this is one of those perfect movies. I can't imagine anybody not liking this movie. I think it's magical. I think it's charming. I think it's funny. And I wish that I could kiss Carrie Always.
All right. And Zach.
I don't think it should surprise anybody that I completely agree with Michael Colby. I'll even kiss Carrie Always. That's fine. This one is a movie I can watch over and over and over again, and I have, and I will continue to. It is on the shelf. It stays on the shelf. It belongs on the shelf. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out.
And I'll go last. I don't know if you guys know what I'm going to say. So.
You better say shelf.
I'm going to say shelf. I really enjoyed this movie. I've been kind of trying to be a little coy, but not that coy. And like, I had a little bit of tears during the movie. I'm like, this is just really good. Like, I was so surprised how much fun I had with this film. Like, I didn't want to throw it out there earlier, but I've been purposely waiting. But like, I can almost see this being a perfect movie. Like, it was just really good.
It is. I forgot to mention that while my kids were complaining for the parts that they sat through, I was near tears through most of this movie. I just hadn't seen it in a long time, and I think I don't know. It's like if you starve yourself of something long enough and then give into it. Yeah, I was having a lot of emotions this time around.
Yeah, I was when Inigo is like winning his fight, I was like cheering. I was like, this is because, and once I read the book, again, it's not you don't need to read the book, but when you do and you understand like his love for his father and like how much it meant to him to have found this man, and now he's like doing the revenge that he's been, it's the only thing he thought about for 20 years. He says it in the movie, but like while he's doing it, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's reasonable. I'm talking about like at the beginning, even when it's like, I think the voiceover with Peter Falk saying what she didn't realize was when Wesley was saying, as you wish, what he meant was, I love you. I'm like, oh my God.
I still can't get over the fact that I've never watched this movie because like younger Mike would have liked this movie, and yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah. And like I said, my grandmother put this on for me, and I was Fred Savage. I was like, I don't want to watch The Princess Bride, but yeah, it's incredible, an incredible fucking movie.
And it always makes me happy to get another. And they're one of those things that I plan to do for this podcast out of the way. So and like I said, hey, one great thing about this podcast, it gets me to watch movies and things I never would have touched otherwise. And this is one of them I never would have got around to.
Yeah, and this I watched Beetlejuice like 2 days before I watched this, and the chasm of what a good movie is, because I think the first Beetlejuice is up there with my perfect movies. So to have watched something that came out last year, and to see how many plot lines were thrown in there, how many extra characters, how much bullshit flashbacks, how much just absolute nonsense went into that 2-hour movie that made less sense and was more boring than The Princess Bride, which came out 30 years before that. More than that. However
almost
long
40.
Before that. 40 years before that. And to see it like so clear and clearly defining these characters and clearly defining their motivations and clearly defining everything, I was like, I appreciated it more after having seen that slop that was Beetlejuice. It was just one of those things that was like, wow, like this made The Princess Bride that much better.
And I did not recommend Beetlejuice. I just said I enjoyed it. There's a difference.
I didn't watch it because of
I thought it was fine, but Michael's not wrong.
I had fun when I saw it, but it was just, I don't know, it was just one of those things. But no, none of the things you said was wrong. I don't even know why I enjoyed it. I just did.
Sometimes I've seen a bunch of movies that I was like, oh yeah, I like that. And then when I rewatch it, I'm like, what was I thinking? Mm-hmm. So I can see, going into something with the right mindset or with a mindset that jives with a bad movie. Yeah. But just, yeah, it was, and I would have been perfectly happy to have said that Beetlejuice was a boring, fine movie until the wedding scene, and that song went so long and I was ready to stop it. I'm like, if there wasn't 10 minutes left of this movie, I would turn this fucking thing off right now.
No, that's fair.
And I know, I didn't watch it because you recommended it, Mike. I don't hold you accountable.
Okay, good. I was like, wait, did I recommend it? Like, I don't record drunk normally. Like, I have before, but I don't drink very often anymore. So it does not happen too often. Plus, it's hard to host when you're drunk. It's not hard to participate, but it's hard to host.
It's hard to be a guest on an episode where somebody's drunk. And this is not Tiffany. I'm not talking about you. You're a delight.
You crazy.
I've been on so many podcasts where somebody else was drunk, and I'm like, I know that I ramble, but drunk people ramble a completely different way.
Usually when I do it, it has to be a thing like where we're all doing it because then it's more fun. Like when I talk with Cody Laveau, a lot of times I will drink with him and he's drinking too, and we're all drinking. So as the episode continues, we all are and then it's okay. And then I edit so I make things sound better. But it's not fun when you're the one sober person. It could be hard.
Yeah.
All right, we should go to plugs. And Zach, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Absolutely the Best Podcast, A Work in Progress, where we are going through the MCU movies and ranking them after we discuss them. We should have Quantumania out by the time this comes out, possibly Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as well. That's what we're recording tomorrow. And we will be doing a Thunderbolts quick take pretty soon. I might have a couple of good guests lined up for that one.
This comes out 5/8 for the record.
All right. Yeah, Quantumania will be out. And that's about it.
What do you mean you don't publish 4 episodes a week like some people? Oh, you're a sane person?
I wish I could.
No, you don't.
You do it.
That makes 2 of us. Well, no, I don't know how or why, but I do it. And Colby, where can people find you at?
Oh, you can find me on Jack Billings Presents, wherever you get your podcasts. A couple of weeks ago, we had Mike Albertin reprising his role as Reggie Rally, half Reggie, half Goat Boy, resurrected corpse. And that's not the weirdest thing that happens in that episode. So maybe check out Jack Billings Presents. It's really weird and fun.
It is. It made me realize I really like doing voiceover recordings.
Yeah, you're really good at it too. You can also check out This Bizarre Adventure, where me and my co-host B. Highland talk about the anime show JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's also somehow got weird. I can't do anything without it being weird.
I agree. I've recorded with you enough. I can agree with that statement.
I think we did an all right job of keeping it on track today.
Yeah, we did fine. I mean, also, it wouldn't be a Game My Mom Found episode if you don't go off track, would it now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what we do. I have a rule. As long as the beginning stays on topic, it can go off topic later. Especially if that topic at least somehow connects to whatever the topic is in some shape or form. That's my rule. All right. So you will... I was going to say, you won't see any links to anything because I don't have anything else that connects to this. But if you want to check out the rest of our content, we do movies, comics, TV shows, games. We do tons of episodes. You can find everything we do on Podbean. There's over 800 episodes of this podcast for you to check out. So you never know what you're going to find. You have a search bar, you type it in, search, whatever. We might have done it. I do a lot of stuff, so you never know. If you want to support the show, if you want to be a part of the show, we have a Discord. We're always happy to have new people join us and chat with us. Lurk, I don't care, make the number go up. But I'm always asking there for guests. I try to get on anybody on the show that wants to be on the show. So, hey, if you listen, and if you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon, a little darling vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. This was a Patreon poll. Took me a little bit longer to get to it than I wanted to, but I do a lot. But so if you want to help support the show, join the Patreon. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Fury. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram, and check out A Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only, TikTok sometimes, and rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast. That's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Good night. Sleep well. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.